Okay, now we'll start with the session. I think my screen is visible, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, so hello everyone. Long time no see. I hope everyone is doing good. So first things first, if you see this slide, there's something unique, right? Like why is this single word C has been underlined? Can you think of any other reasons? Like why only this word has been underlined? Okay, there are no responses. I think the reason why this only the single word has been underlined is we can simplify this sentence further, right? Simplify in a way that matches our today's event context. So instead of writing this whole word C, we can use just a simple letter like C. Even this sounds same, right? Long time no see. So what did we do just now? So just now we just simplified things, right? And speaking of things that starts with C, even our today's event, Compose Camp, starts with C. So drum roll, please. Yeah, so this is our event, Compose Camp. So whole idea behind this Compose Camp is it simplifies the way you develop Android apps, right? So this whole Compose Camp is a fun theme and adventure pack where you will be learning things, and you will not only learn things, but you will also learn to build beautiful apps. So this was a short introduction regarding the Compose Camp. Speaking of introduction, now let me introduce myself. Myself, Manjunath, Flutter leader GDSC, and I will be the facilitator for this whole Compose Camp. So what is this Compose Camp exactly? So as the slide says, it's a community organized events which is focused on building Android apps using Jetpack Compose, right? So since it is a community organized events, we GDSA will be conducting various sessions on this Compose Camp. And to attend these sessions, you don't need to know anything. You will teach everything from scratch, right? And at the end of this session, each session you will be getting hands-on experience with Compose, and you can apply this to build beautiful apps, right? And this session lasts till October 8th, and you can be a part of this session and learn things till October 8th. So if you are familiar with this Android study jams, is Compose Camp similar to Android study jams? Yes, it's quite familiar. The learning format remains the same. It's like a group of people coming together to do hands-on project. Like it's just basically like a study group, right? So the only difference is instead of building Android apps in the traditional manner, we will be building the Android apps in a modern way, that is using Jetpack Compose. So which is a modern UI toolkit recommended by Google to build the Android apps, right? Okay, so speaking of study groups, so if you want to make you can join our Discord channel where we have a separate channel dedicated to this Compose Camp, and joining our Discord server would make your Compose camping journey even more adventurous. So for this, you will be provided with materials, and even we will conduct ample amount of sessions. And at the end of this whole camp, you will be in a position to build Android apps and publish it on the Play Store. And just like before we move further, I want to inform you that the slides will be shared later, so you can just grab your popcorn and just listen to the session, right? Okay, cool. So this is our Discord server where there's a separate channel called Compose Camp. If at all during the camp, if you're stuck somewhere, like if you have any doubts, you can clarify your doubts by reaching out via Discord server, or even you can reach out to us via Instagram. Okay, next we have one quiz. Okay, so head over to this website, slido.com, and enter this code 3940397. I'll repeat the code 3940397. What you need to do is head over to this website slido.com and you need to enter this code 3940397. Okay, people are joining. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, the question says that what percentage of mobile users all over the world use Android? So the options are 65%, 70%, 90%, and final option is 75%. I think people are still joining. Yeah. I think we can begin. Yeah. So, okay, people are voting. Yeah. So the correct answer is 70%. So what does this mean for us as a developer? So if at all, if you want to start some business or, if you are planning to start some startup and all, the way to reach more large number of people is using Android apps. So Android apps is the way to go, right? So yeah. So since you said, since we know the fact that over 70% of the 70% of the people are using Android all over the world. So have you previously worked on Android development? To answer this question, you need to head over to the same website and enter the same code. I think question will be visible by now. Yeah. Okay. Okay, numbers are interesting. Yeah. Okay. What I can see is majority of you have not started working on Android development, right? Yeah, it's totally fine. That's where, Jetpack Compose comes to your rescue. It makes everything in Android development so simpler when compared to the traditional way. So since I said traditional way, before we move on further, now we have another speaker for this session. So we have Brahmakirti, the present Android lead at GDSC JSSSTU.
Hi everyone, I'm Brahmakirti. I'm the Android lead at GDSC JSSSTU.
Hi Brahmakirti, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, Manjunath.
Yeah, cool. So can you say us like how did you start your Android development journey?
Yeah, sure. We got to know that more than 75%, more than 70% of the phone users are using Android. So I was fascinated on this fact, and I wanted to develop an app which could reach more number of people. So
Mhm.
I started developing in Android.
Okay, said like how was the learning curve?
Yeah, see, learning was pretty hard initially. I had to work a lot.
Mhm.
I had to deal with, see, couple of there will be couple of files. One will be XML and the other will be Java file
Okay.
to display a
Okay.
simple.
Yeah. So I wanted help from you. Like I want to build a simple app which
Yes,
has, words laid out in a column format, right?
yes,
So can you like explain like how will you achieve this in simple terms?
yeah. See, basically there are two files. One will be the XML file and other one will be the Java file. If we want to display text, we need to have some text views. Similarly, if we want to display images, we need to have a image view like that. And basically, we saw that there were four words,
Mhm.
so we need to take up four text views. And you can see on the screen that
Okay.
there are basically four text views, and each text view has its own attributes. Attributes are nothing but its properties, like what will be the text color, the
Mhm.
text size, like that. Here the code looks small because there are only four text views. But if we had some 100 text views, the code would be very large. And only this file is not
Okay.
the end.
Okay.
We need
It
to deal
start
with,
getting complicated. Yeah.
yeah, it's very complicated, I know.
Yeah. So to summarize,
and we have another file, Java file. If you want to make
Okay,
some
just to
changes,
summarize this slide, yeah, just to summarize this slide, we will be using something called as text view to insert text onto the screen, right?
yes, and we need to deal with
Yes,
another
good.
file, and this is
Yeah.
the Java file. If we want
Mm-hmm.
to make changes to the text view,
Mm-hmm.
then we must take the help of the Java file. And I think everyone knows
Mm-hmm.
that Java is a programming language through which we can do changes when the app is running.
Wait, just to build a simple app, you're saying that you need two files and you need to write a lot of code, right?
Yeah, that's basically very difficult to beginners.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's pretty much like it's too much for a beginner to grasp all these things in one go, right? So
Yeah,
that's where we have Jetpack Compose. In Jetpack Compose, we will. So thank you, Brahmakirti, like for explaining how will you do the same Android in the traditional manner. So now we will go with a modern way of building Android apps. So that's where Jetpack Compose comes into play. So to build the same UI in Jetpack Compose, we just need a small code. So this is basically a function. So even if you don't know what a function is, it's completely fine. We teach everything in the upcoming sessions. So since we wanted to arrange the text, in the column format, we will specify something called as column, right? And you will open and you will use curly braces. So after specifying the column, inside the column, we need to have something, right? That something is nothing but the text. So since you need text, you specify text. But the Jetpack Compose doesn't know what to display, right? Like we need to specify what kind of text, we need to display on the screen, right? So to specify those texts, we will open the small braces and write the text to be, displayed on the screen within the double quotes, right? So this is it. In Jetpack Compose, it's way too simple to achieve the same code. So coming back to the benefits of Jetpack Compose, so as you saw earlier, it uses way less code. By using less code, you can do more things, right? In Android, in the traditional way, you need to deal with two files like Java file or Kotlin file and XML file. But in Jetpack Compose, we will be dealing with only single file, just the Kotlin file, right? Okay, since we will be using less code, the code is simpler to maintain and it's easier to debug, right? It's very intuitive, right? When compared to this Android. The because you wanted a column, you specified it by using the word column. You wanted text, you specify it using the word text. If you want to display an image on the screen, you specify it using the keyword called as image. So that's it. This makes Jetpack Compose intuitive. So it accelerates development. As you saw earlier, since if you use less code, you can develop the apps pretty quickly, right? And the icing on the cake is the Jetpack Compose is reverse compatible with existing code. So even if you have some really old apps or legacy application, you can still integrate Jetpack Compose with the existing apps. And this all of these things makes Jetpack Compose a really powerful toolkit to build UIs. And it also provides some basic built-in support for material design, dark theme, and animations and all. So we'll see more about this in the upcoming sessions. So yeah. So what to expect in this Compose camp? So basically there will be two tracks, beginner track and the intermediate track, right? So in the beginner track, if you are completely new to Android app development, or if you do not have any prior programming experience, the recommended track is go with the beginner track, right? So if you have some experience with developing Android apps and if you're familiar with Kotlin and the view system, but you just want to utilize the potential of a Jetpack Compose, then you can go with this intermediate track. So if you head over to this beginner track, yeah, so I think you can see this screen, I guess, yeah? Yeah, cool. So in this beginner track, will be initially presented with this sort of screen. So here, for now, we are having like 4 units. Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3, and Unit 4. And I will say more regarding these units in the upcoming slides. So you need to sign in. And after signing in, you will be able to, access these content materials that are provided by Google, right? Okay, so next we have, so what are the prerequisites? So first thing is you should have Android Studio installed on your laptop or respective machines. And the important thing is you should have the passion to learn new things. So that's it. This is pretty much the prerequisites. Okay, as we saw earlier, this will be the UI you will be presented with when you open that beginner track wala link. Okay, so you need to click on the sign in button. Then after clicking on the sign in button, you will be presented with this login screen where you need to enter your email and your password. So after you, as you saw here, will be presented with these 4 units, right? So in these 4 units, the first unit is your first Android app. So here you will be building your first Android app where you will be learning various things like the basics and the Kotlin language. Then in the second unit, we have building the app UI where you will continue learning the fundamentals of Kotlin and start adding interactivity to the apps. So in the third unit, we will be learning how to display lists and use material design. So what is this material design is? It's basically the design guidelines provided by Google, to keep the screens or icons consistent across various apps. And in the unit 4, we will be learning some advanced concepts like navigation and app architecture. Okay, suppose if you click on this first unit 1, we will be presented with these 3 pathways. So in the pathway 1, we have introduction to Kotlin, and in the pathway 2, we have something called as setting up your Android Studio, and in the pathway 3, we will be having something called as building a basic layout, right? So as you complete these pathways, even your progress will be tracked accordingly, and it will be updated on the screen. So what are these pathways? So suppose if you click on this build a basic layout pathway, you will be presented with this screen. So each pathway consists of sequence of learning activities, which includes videos, articles, and code labs, which will help you learn regarding a specific technical topic. So at the end of each pathway, there will be a quiz, which will test like the things you learned, and by completing the quiz, you will gain these digital badges. So what is the use of these digital badges? You can showcase your digital badges in the resume or LinkedIn, which helps the recruiters to know that you are well versed with this technology, right? Yeah. So these badges are added to your Google developer profile. So coming back to this Google developer profile. This is how your Google developer profile looks like. But since I already signed in, you will not be getting this screen initially. What you will get is initially you will get a screen similar to this. Then you need to sign in with Google, and again it will ask your credentials. And after entering the credentials, you'll be able to see something similar to this. Since I said earlier, like you could showcase your badges to the recruiters. In order to do that, first you need to make your Google developer profile public. So in order to do that, you should click on these 3 dots. Then you will be taken to this page. And in this, just beside your profile icon, there is a setting icon, right? So in this, my profile is already public, but you can change your profile visibility. Yeah, so make sure to make your Google developer profile public so that the recruiters can view your Google profile, right? So that's it. So the the projects, right? Like the projects, it adds the density to your resumes. It gives you the upper hand when compared to your peers, right? Like during the interviews and placement and stuff. So we will be building a lot of apps and mini apps during this whole camp. Some of them are first you will build you start from basics where you'll build a basic business card app. Then you'll continue with this art space app. Then you'll continue with this superheroes app. Then finally, we'll learn, you will be building this 30 days wellness app. So these are the apps that you will be building while completing the course or provided by the Google. So in addition to this, we will be building some more apps, and one of them is Swigato. So this apps looks something similar to this. So if you're thinking this app, Swigato provides best of both worlds, that is Zomato and Swiggy, then definitely not. This app, the only reason behind this app is to, increase the appetite of the users. So by increasing the appetite of the users, they can, the app is built in such a way that you can just see the food, but you can't order any food. So by increasing the appetite, we can ask the users to, we'll make the users to order food from Swiggy and Zomato. So it's directly like we are supporting Swiggy and Zomato, right? Yeah. So that's it for this kickoff session. So do you guys have any questions? Yeah, then this is a free session. Like since our whole motto behind our club is, giving back to the community, right? So this will be a free session and all the sessions will be available for free. So yeah, so the reason why Jetpack Compose is using Kotlin is Kotlin is natively supported by Android, right? And like Kotlin has way better performance when compared to the Flutter. So that's why we are using Kotlin. Yes, this whole program is going to be online, and you can access the content materials in the slide resources provided at the end of this session. Yes, as I said earlier, this is a study group sort of thing. So you will be joining our Discord server where constant doubts sessions will be clear, constant doubt sessions will be provided, and all your doubts will be clear. Okay, Ashwath, so even if you don't know any coding, you can still go ahead with this course. This course is designed in such a way that it's completely, tailored for these beginners. So you can understand things, and at the end of this course, you will be able to build apps. So the duration of this program, it lasts till October 8th. Yes, Abhilash, this course is completely self-paced. You can learn things at your own pace and at your convenient time. Any other questions? Okay, so the recommended PC requirements for this camp is 8 GB of RAM and 8 GB of required space. Yeah. Free space, sorry. Okay, even if you don't have an Android phone, you can still take part in this event. In Android Studio, we have something called as Android emulators, which is basically a virtual device where you can, build and test your apps. Yes, as I said earlier, we'll be building a lot of projects throughout this whole camp. So it will definitely help you during the placements. Okay, would React Native be a good choice or Kotlin for someone who's familiar with JS? Yeah, you can build apps with React Native. The thing is, here the Jetpack Compose focuses on performance, right? In React Native, you have something called as JS builds, right? So it drastically reduces the performance. But here, since everything is compiled to the native code, it's way more performant than React Native apps. Yes, yes, Abhilash. You can even Mac users can learn to build Android apps using this Compose camp, since this Android Studio is available even for the Mac users. Yes, Ritvik. This, as I said earlier, this camp is designed especially for the beginners. Even if you don't know any programming knowledge, have no knowledge regarding the Android development, you will be able to take this course, and at the end, you will be able to build beautiful apps. Do you guys have any other questions? No more questions? Okay, that's it then. I think we are pretty much done with this kickoff session. I'll see you guys in the next session where we'll be learning regarding Kotlin, right? Okay then, I'll catch you guys in the next one.